Today I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who let me tell you is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I'm invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation. But I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes was. That would be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato became on my plate, I acted very interesting. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious, and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was saying, "Oh, interesting, a baked. What is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato, oh interesting. Never heard of a potato, looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what is a potato. So I knew I would be very shamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I never heard of a potato. I went with it and told them, yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit, and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my fucked up antics, and then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is, was when the parents starting thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point he said something like, "Enough is enough. You're fucking with us. Admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today I never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "Tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally the father said I should get the fuck out of his house, and I said it was irrational to treat me like this, just because I never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages I have been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I never started it, but I can't go back. I think she will break up with me anyway. Today I fucked up by knocking out my brother with a potato. Obligatory, this didn't happen today. It happened around 11 years ago and has only come to mind from all the potato posts recently. Maybe we should just get rid of potatoes? Be me, somewhere between 7 to 10 years old, playing outside on a hot summer's day. I was one of 3 children, and my parents were relatively rich for the area we lived in, one of the most expensive streets around that area. This meant that we had some of the coolest toys, swimming pools, them battery-powered Ratzakers, the lot. Now there is 2 years between myself and my other brothers, so if I was 8, my little brother was 6 and my older 10. We'd always mess around and play pranks on each other whenever we could, such as launching a water balloon out of the window to hit someone in the head. Tommy was my best friend who lived just across the street, and his parents got him a new toy. He had a spud gun. The way a spud gun works is you dig it into a potato, break it off, and then you fire a bit of potato with some air pressure. It didn't hurt when you got hit, as long as it wasn't the eyes, and it was all just for a little bit of fun. Plus it was hilarious when your parents got mad about finding billions of bits of potato around the house. So, me being me, I decided to play a prank on my older brother. To me, and I stole 2 huge fucking potatoes. I have no idea how they were so big. Maybe I was just really little, and we went upstairs. We basically played an army game, and the target was my brother. We ran into my parents' room and opened the window as quietly as possible. We loaded up the spud gun and started shooting at my brother. Nothing. Nothing at all. The potato pieces were barely reaching him, and he was too focused standing up playing Pokemon on his Gamma Boy. We tried to keep doing this for a few minutes, but got bored as most 8-year-olds would. We then came up with the worst fucking idea known to man. Rather than shooting potato at him through the spud gun, let's just chuck one of the overly sized potatoes at him, and the fuck up begins. I pick up this potato, which I can only describe as looking like the fat woman out of 50 First Dates, charge my little arms up as humanely possible for a 2FT8-year-old, and sling this potato towards the body of my brother. Direct hit. In the head. Oh wait, is he okay? Moo. 4 hours later, I'm sitting with my dad in the while my brother is having MRI scans, or whatever they do when you hurt yourself in the head. Basically what happened, the potato hit him in the back of the head. This was enough force to sling him headfirst into the concrete slabs, which caused a small crack in his skull just above his hairline. He had bandages on his head for a few days and missed a couple of days of school, but I'm pretty confident he was just as brain damaged before that happened as he is now, 21 in a few months. Potatoes are bad for this world, they just fuck everything up. Today I fucked up by actually forgetting what potatoes were. Saw something earlier on the front page about forgetting some rotting potatoes. Thought I could add my Dumbus actions. I'm a native to Chilhit speaker, but once I moved to the US, when I was young, I got a little bit rusty over the course of a few years due to speaking primarily English at school. My grandmother moved in from our native country to visit and stay with us for a few months. She speaks no English, but I was easily able to communicate with her, seeing as I'm mostly fluent in our language. However, I do tend to make the occasional flub. Only my grandmother and I are home, and I'm about to leave for a few hours, and she asks me, before I go, how to make our dinner soup for the night. Usually the soups we eat consist of veggies like carrots and cauliflower and other things blended together with potatoes as kind of a base. It's primarily potato and carrot. So I'm telling her all of the stuff she needs to cook in the pot, and I emphasize potatoes and carrots because they're the main ingredients. For some reason she's looking at me in this bewildered way and is asking me, potatoes? Yeah, sure, you need that much potatoes? And I tell her, yeah, it's a potato and carrot soup. You need at least 4 potatoes. Trust me, it's delicious. She stares at me and says fine. She trusts me. Fast forward a few hours later, when I get home, and the soup is all done and everyone is ready to eat. I get the pot, and look inside and am just like, what the fuck? Turns out I completely mixed up the words butter and potato in my dialect, and instead my grandmother put 4 to 5 sticks of butter instead of potatoes. It was so incredibly greasy and disgusting looking that even thinking about it right now is giving me acne. Like 2 inches of liquid butter just floating on top of the pureed veggies. It was some next level Paula Deen shit. Honestly, I feel like Paula Deen would have run away scared. In my defense, potato in my language sounds a lot like the English word butter, so I must have just confused the two in my head. It was terrible. We ended up getting shitty Chinese food for dinner that ended up giving my brother food poisoning. I'm never allowed to give anyone recipes in any language other than English again. Today I fucked up by throwing a potato at my daughter's face. Happened about 10 minutes ago. Getting in from a hard day at work, I went to start tea. Translation, dinner. I had planned to make mashed potato, but didn't notice we were running a bit low on the main ingredient. I reached into the bag and pulled out a fist-sized potato. Made some comment about it, and my daughter, across the other side of the room, cries out, I love potatoes, and asks me to throw it the 20 feet to her. Momentarily I think no, dangerous, but then I decide to stop being a fun sponge and throw it. Underarm, but quite a bit harder than I had intended. She came so close to catching it, but then it flew through the gap in her hands and it smacked her right on the cheekbone. And with some force. I'm taking her to a code club morning, church tomorrow night, and then a dance competition on Sunday, where she'll almost certainly be sporting a black eye caused by daddy. Today I fucked up by forgetting about potatoes. For the past 3 weeks I've had a horrible cough and have had nausea every time I've been in my 1-bedroom apartment. Every single time I walked into it, I always got hit by this ammonia-like smell that I thought were cleaning supplies. I've been having to keep all my doors and windows open, which sucks because I live in a hot area and I can't turn on the account doing so. And at night, when I go to bed and close everything, I start coughing horribly. Last night I was putting away stuff I got from the grocery store. I was trying to find a place to put something, and I opened a drawer. I was hit by this super strong odor that made me start coughing and retching immediately. I walked away, went outside, and felt like I was about to pass out. A few minutes later, I went back in, held my breath, and saw that I left a dozen small potatoes in there. I was told to keep them in a cool, dry place, and I thought a drawer would be that. Apparently not, they were all moldy, and that mold leaked into the wooden drawer. I picked them up, threw them out down the garbage chute, and have been aerating my apartment while I'm at work. About a year ago, I read this story about how rotting potato gas killed almost an entire family. I assume that's what's been making me sick, I hope at least, because then I found the problem. I'm going to get my blood checked in a few days, because my lungs hurt. Today I fucked up by forgetting I bought potatoes. Alright guys, this actually happened like an hour ago. Okay, so I buy groceries from week to week. As a single guy living alone, I usually just buy enough to last me the week. At some point in my multitude of grocery store trips, I bought a bag of potatoes. I think I may have used like 1 or maybe 2 potatoes from the entire bag before forgetting that I even bought them. Now, fast forward X amount of time, I can't remember how much time has passed since I bought them. At this point, I had been noticing a few gnats had been flying around apartment, to which I had no idea the cause. I'm a relatively clean guy. I don't leave dishes or any puddles of water, and I have no plants. Read online somewhere this attracts them. So, I buy some ribbon tape and notice it catches a few, but the problem persisted. Anyway, I was making cereal in my kitchen, and slicing bananas to put in my goddamn Honey Nut Cheerios, and for whatever fucking reason I remember the potatoes I bought way too fucking long ago, and I think, oh, I should throw them out. They are definitely not any good anymore. So I opened the cabinet, where I keep my potatoes, and I was not prepared for what the fuck I was about to see. The potatoes had gone past the point to where I don't think I could call them potatoes. There was this thick brown liquid stuff that had specks all over it, that somehow made its way into my crock pot. Forgot to mention crock pot is only other thing in the potato cabinet. As I opened the cabinet a plethora of gnats flew out, and this unbearable stench was coming from the potatoes and brown liquid stuff. I immediately nope the fuck out, and throw the potatoes and crock pot out in my apartment complex's dumpster. I come back in to examine the brown liquid stuff, and to holy fucking hell, the specks on the brown liquid are larvae squirming around. I have never felt more gross or disgusting. I bought a bag of potatoes, forgot about them, and it became a giant orgy breeding ground for gnats.